All right, what is good, boys? Welcome to October 8th trade recap. I do want to go over, there was three trades. There was a 942 short, a 946 long, and a 1015 gap or mech model that I do want to go over with you boys. So headed into this morning, what did we see overnight? Well, we seen this big ass streak to the downside. We inversed two bullish fair value gaps, and we also created this giant 4-hour bearish fair value gap as well. So with that being said, I'm still like pretty bullish on the higher time frames. Like if you just look at the 4-hour chart, like we're just going up and up and up, right? But at this, in this general range right here, we're showing pretty bearish structure. So that doesn't necessarily mean I'm bearish. It means I'm going to wait for 10 a.m. because I have a neutral bias. So what am I going to do? I want to see if this 4-hour fair value gap gets fucking respected or disrespected at 10 o'clock. And what did it end up doing? It ended up getting disrespected. So that means I'm like, okay, now we can flip back to our bullish sentiment rather than being pretty neutral. But there was a couple trades that I do want to go over. We ended up coming up, and I don't know what this line is. I don't know what these lines are. Oh, actually, I do know what these lines are. I'll go over them in a second. So coming into this morning, if I was bullish, I would want to. We had this accumulation zone, obviously. So if I was bullish, I would want to see a sweep of like these London lows and then see a rejection out of it. And if I was bearish, I would want to see price come up into these 5 or 15 minute gaps, right? And then see a rejection out of that back to the downside. But me personally, I was pretty neutral, so I wouldn't. I know it's easy to say this in hindsight because the candle's already there. But the way my brain thinks, if I don't have a certain fucking bias and we're bouncing between two PD rays, Jesus. I'm gonna wait for that 10 a.m. candle to close to see if we respected or disrespected these higher time frame fair value gaps. So I hope that can teach you guys something. But there was these 942 shorts that honestly looked really good. We had this unfilled 5-minute fair value gap right here, along with like all this accumulation zone if you wanted to hold it, but I don't recommend that, especially in these market conditions. But what do we end up doing? We ended up tapping into this 15-minute fair value gap right here. Continuing lower, making this 5-minute gap. We trended higher into a 5-minute fair value gap, which was this line right up here. We ended up getting a V-shaped recovery out of it, 1-minute inversion. My stops would have been at the body instead of the wick because the wick would have given me a negative RR, and the body would have gave me essentially a 1-to-1, right? So 1-minute inversion right here. We had a internal SMT as well. Let me go to ES real quick. Right, so we ended up sweeping past 933 highs, and as you can see, ES was like way the fuck down here. ES is super uncorrelated, right? Super uncorrelated. Not, first of all, the 933 highs are right here, and the market open highs are all the way up here. So we had like a double SMT. This was a really good trade, and there's nothing really we can do about it, right? I probably would have took this trade if I was in the market. I know it's easy to say that, okay, I wouldn't have took the trade because it didn't play out. But like in real time, I probably would have took this trade. Look at the recovery off of the 15-minute and the 5-minute gap. We had a clear draw lower. There was a double SMT with these market open highs. So on and so forth. It could have been that ES came down and took out all these lows, so it created a bullish SMT as well, and we were trending pretty higher. Like we weren't showing really much bearish sentiment, but there's nothing really we can do about it, right? If you had conviction and you've seen your setup, go ahead and take it. It's sometimes it plays out most of the time, sometimes it doesn't. This was part of the sometime, right? But I do want to say, if you guys watched the 10-9 market recap that I literally just dropped probably like 15 minutes prior, I'm talking about market conditions. This past week and a half to 2 weeks has been very rough. So we would just want to, like, I would say, chill out on like the mech or gap models, just because like these markets have been super freaking unpredictable, right? Like this is a clean freaking setup and it didn't play out. Why? Well, because what the fuck was ES doing? ES was jacking its dick all the way the fuck down here, doing who knows what. So at this point in time, I would rather just see a tap into this 5-minute gap right here and then continue higher. And that brings me to my next point, which is someone asked me about this 946 long, and I would have probably not taken this. If I'm being completely honest, I just know the way I trade. I'm not saying it's a bad setup at all. Like if you have conviction, right, and you feel like price is going to go higher towards this unfilled gap, hell yeah, go ahead and enter off it. But like I said, I was A, waiting for 10 a.m. to close, and also B, if I am going to take a continuation model, I want to see this 5-minute get tapped into. That is a must for me, especially if I'm not highly convicted on my bias. Yeah, the draw was probably pretty obvious towards this unfilled hourly right here. However, we didn't get a tap into a condition, and on top of that, my bias wasn't certain. So with that being said, I would have sat out of this trade. I'm not saying it's a bad trade, but it's not something I would have took. I would have wanted to see a 5 minute get hit and then an inversion out of it, but it was still clean, I guess. I'd get about a like a B plus setup, just because like I said, he is super uncorrelated. Our bias isn't 100% clear, and we didn't tap into that gap. So that's why I'll give it like a B plus. But it did end up working out, and it is what it is, right? And then there was these 10-15. There was a 10-15 mag that I want to go over. Right here, I think. Short at 10-15. Stops at the highs. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm going to go look in the Discord and see what the combos were. Okay, so I just took a look back in the Discord. I couldn't really find any confluences for this trade. There was an internal SMT with ES. All I really seen was an hourly fair value gap tap in the first 1 minute inversion we seen. Well, there was this inversion, or that fair value gap and that fair value gap. There was a 5 minute right here. And then there was a unfilled 15 minute all the way down here. I don't like this trade at all. If you built conviction, sure, but me personally, I wouldn't have took this trade. First of all, the RR to the unfilled 5 minute is absolutely disgusting. We have nothing to the left of us, right? There's like not, like maybe if there was like an unfilled 15 minute, unfilled 5 minute inside this hourly, sure, but there's no exact price point that I would want to see price bounce off of other than this hourly. And I mean, we could have easily just started displacing this hourly all the way up until its all-time highs. So at this point in time, we literally just have an hourly for value gap along with a fucking like 1 minute, a random 1 minute inversion all the way the fuck up here. There's not even like we had an SMT or anything. We get it. Obviously stops at the swing highs. This trade would, if you were holding it down towards this 15 minute gap, it would have been a break even because you would have went break even at this 5 minute. But other than that, yeah, I don't really see much out of here for that mech. And then regarding this continuation, I don't know if any of you guys took this continuation from this 5 minute, but there was about to be a 15 minute that opened up right below you at, or what is this, 10:30. So you would have took this trade. Let's see, the final inversions like right here, 10:26, and then you would have had a 15 minute open up like right where your stop loss, because I'm assuming your stop loss would either be right here or right here. So from there, I would have just probably just stayed the fuck out this trade, whatever. Or if you had a quick break even, let's say like right here, and your final take profit was just these highs right here, then okay, sure, that's fine, right? Because then at least you would have had break even on this trade. But if you were just planning on holding it to like these highs right here, these internal highs all the way towards all-time highs as well, I don't recommend that. We were also super freaking premium in this leg. Like we just got one. If any, I would want to see this 15 minute get hit before continue higher. All right. So that is all for this recap. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, I will. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. I'll go over it and I'll respond to your guys' comments. Okay. Don't feel shy to like essentially let me know. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch y'all boys tomorrow.